All right, so starting off with the macros that I got from my coach and my calories. As you can see here, it's 2,195 calories. I'm going to go into my MyFitnessPal and I'm going to set up my goals to reflect the macronutrients that he gave me. So I'll go into the settings tab, go to goals, and then I'm going to click on calories, carbs, proteins, and fats, and then switch up my calorie goal, which was already pretty close, to that new goal. And then I'm going to be referencing those macros that he gave me and try to get them as close as I can to the percentages. You can obviously purchase the premium version and do the exact amounts, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get as close as I can based off of what he sent me and kind of toggle those until I get close to those numbers, just always remembering what my actual numbers are. And that's what I will actually be referencing each time. So here I have them close, and this is what I wanted. So now that they're close, I'm going to go into my diary, and this is where I will be setting up all of my numbers and whatnot. So the first thing that I do is I take my carbs, and I'm going to divide those out throughout the day. So for me personally, I'm going to take about 75% of my carbs and divide that by 3. So my pre-workout, my intra workout, and then my post-workout meals. And each of those is going to contain about 65 carbs per meal. So that even means during my workout, but I might end up changing this around later and you'll see whenever I'm setting up my macros. So here I am just typing out in my notes, and you can write this down on the side, or you can just do what I was doing with it and kind of type in everything. So 3 of my meals have 65 calories in them. So again, I'm going to take that 75%, subtract that from my total carbs, and I have 82 carbs left, about 82. So I divide that by the 2 other meals that I'm going to be having. So I'm planning on 6 times of eating altogether. 5 to 6 times altogether. And then I'll be having around 40 grams of carbs for the 2 other meals during the day. The next thing that I'm going to do is figure out my fat per meal. So if I have 55 for the day, I'm going to divide that by how many meals I need that for, which I figured up is going to be around 4 because I'm going to try and keep the fat pretty low on a couple of those other meals. So I'm going to aim for around 14 grams of fat for 4 meals. And obviously these are just guidelines. I'm not going to be hitting those exact numbers per meal, but just giving myself an idea of where I'm at. So next is my 150 grams of protein goal, divide that by 6 to get 25 grams of protein per meal. And again, this is just kind of my guidelines here so that I have an idea of what I'm aiming for per meal instead of just kind of trying to throw stuff together per meal. And that gets my guidelines. So now I'm going to go into my meal 1 and I'm going to start plugging in some stuff that I normally would have for breakfast and then plugging in the amounts. And here you'll see me going through it pretty fast. This is probably the part that's going to take you the longest because it is guess and check. I've been doing this so long now that I kind of have an idea of what meals are going to fit where. So you'll see me kind of going in quick, typing in whatever I'm going to be using. And you'll see I go to my history pretty often and use that because obviously I'm eating around the same foods all the time. So they're going to be in my most recent under each meal. So here you'll see I'm kind of creating my breakfast sandwich that has my salmon, my spinach, eggs, and then I'll be adding some blueberries to that. And whenever you're doing this, you can change the amounts, make sure you're checking the serving sizes. And then I'll also be checking back into the nutrition section here to make sure that I'm getting close to my goals. So nutrition, make sure that you click on nutrients and not macros so that you can look at your totals and see how much you have of each. And there I was pretty close. I think I have to add in a little bit more carbs, so I'm going to put some blueberries in there and check that off, and then scroll back down to check my nutrition, just guessing and checking every time. So I'm pretty close here. So what I'll be doing is taking that meal and pressing the pen button at the top. I'm going to copy that meal into tomorrow. So again, I don't have to buy the premium version. I can go back to today and delete meal 1 out. And then I'm going to plug in and do the same thing for my meal 2. So I'll be searching for each of my meals in meal 2, planning that out exactly how I planned out meal 1, and then copying meal 2 to tomorrow and repeating that entire process over again. So once you have this completely down, I'm just going to fast forward through how I kind of add in the rest of them. I refer back to my guide often to make sure that I'm getting in the right amounts. Once I'm completely done with that, then I have my entire day tomorrow that is completely done and hitting my macros. Now this makes it easy. If something changes, then I can just go in and delete an entire meal out, and I know exactly what I need to do to hit those macros going forward. I can switch things out pretty easily. So if this works for you, let me know. Let me know if you have any questions moving forward, and comment them below or message me in the group chat so that everyone can see the answer.